Right now, for most economists, creating jobs is how best to build a strong and vibrant economy. The renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu is poised to do that. And after forex reform to revive the naira, the administration is pushing for job creation through transport reform. The federal government is set to launch about 2,700 compressed natural gas powered buses and tricycles to mark 1 year in office of President Tinubu. The government is also set to deliver 100 conversion workshops and 60 refueling sites in 18 states before the end of this year. And these are parts of efforts to alleviate the pain that came with the removal of petrol subsidy. It can only get better. EKO, after long wait, finally the CNG buses will be here next month, May. How excited or are you about it?
This is what we should have done many years ago. If we had forward-looking governments, because one of the biggest calamities to befall us as a nation is bad leadership. There's no doubt about it. Even the bad leaders know that they are bad. You know, you've got to be able to think out of the box. You see the progress that the Japanese have made in terms of compressed natural gas. You see the progress being made by other countries, the Chinese especially on electric cars. You know that we are so far behind. We are so far behind. If we had begun this much earlier, today it will have taken roots firmly in our country, because everyone knows that petrol and diesel are just too expensive. And thankfully, there are alternatives. The alternatives are much better, cleaner, safer for the environment. So why have we not
embraced this?
As I was told, compressed natural gas will come to like 200 naira per liter.
Wow.
Yes, it was cheaper than that before the devaluation of the currency. So even if what I told was not true, and it comes to 300 naira per liter, it is still cheaper for people. If I could run my generator, for example, on compressed natural gas, most of the time they don't give me lights. You know, I don't even know what band I belong in.
It's not bandits, right?
Yes, I don't. Most of the time I don't. Yes,
you are bandless.
Well,
no bandits.
In sweltering heat, no light. Sometimes they bring the light when I'm here working. So how can I enjoy it when I'm here working and you are giving me light when I'm not at home? My wife has gone to a place of work. The children have gone to school. Who is enjoying it when you are bringing it? But we will still pay. Now, where I'm headed is government must release money, especially, you see, the finance minister is crucial to the successes of this government. Money has to be released on time, because I am not happy that it's taking this long.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, since when we talked about this,
right,
and even the NLC made a lot of issues out of this. They were not impressed with the snail speed. You've got to roll these things out. Roll them out quickly. Long buses. I saw some buses, the first set of CNG buses that were released. Some of them are, taken to National Assembly. Some were taken to River State and all that. Beautiful, long buses. Ogun State was one of the states to pioneer this. But I think they've seen now that our people will prefer smaller vehicles, because those long buses, the people don't want to waste so much time waiting. You put it on maybe the Songo route, for example, Abeokuta to Songo. The people can't wait. They are seeing smaller vehicles, cars that will get filled up in no time. They would rather go there. So, and these ones are cheaper. But because they can't wait, time is money. So because they can't wait, they are not taking full advantage of it. So government has to think, when you're coming up with a program, what do we do to ensure that the people take to it effectively? I'm happy that at least we've started. It's all about money. The value of the currency now means that even what we set aside for this project will not be enough. It's commonsensical, it's clear. Remember when this was announced, the currency wasn't this week. So we have to set aside more money. We have to bring these things in. Whatever we will do to ease the pains on our people, that's what government should be thinking about 24/7. Every minute of the day, you must be switched on as a government to think, what can we do? How do we get these things in so that our people can benefit? Look at what the capacity governor of Borno State, look at what he's doing. He's brought in electric cars, 50 naira per ride. You can imagine if we have 50 naira vehicles where the people are paying 50 naira in Lagos. You don't know the difference that will make.
Big one.
The queue, even you will not find. You will not even, people will give themselves elbows just to enter. Some will look for head boots. You know, the kind of head boots that those boys, after taking Colorado, will be hitting their heads against poles. And I'm wondering, are these human beings?
Obviously, their bodies have disappeared.
They become goats. Once you take the Colorado, you turn to a goat. Because it's a goat that
hits the wall.
You are not booting NEPA pole.
Just for the fun of
Are you human? You know? Well, may God deliver them.
Amen.
So, this thing should have come earlier.
Right.
Now, the exchange rate has made a mess of even the budget for it.
Every projection.
So you have to bring in more. I'm confident in the man heading the team, Michael Oluwagbemi. He's a US-trained engineer, young man, very knowledgeable in many areas. So it's a good decision that the president has made to make him head the team that will deliver this. And he knows that as a young man, that other young people are watching. He knows that he has to succeed. Young people in this administration, their mates are watching them. Do you want to fail like the old men? You have to make a difference. This is his chance. But I know he can't do it alone. That's why I'm saying, Minister Wale Edun, get money released in good time. When you don't release money in good time, inflation steps in. Naira devaluation steps in. You know?
Makes no sense.
And at the end of the day, what we want to achieve would be diminished by the fact that money doesn't get released on time. So it's a good thing, and I know that the more we create those workshops and the service centers, working with NIPCO, creating those service centers, it will help. You are going to Ibadan, for example. There should be some along that route. You simply go, fill your tank and move. You know? And it's cheaper and cleaner.
Yeah, cleaner indeed. GKB, this is something that we should have long embraced, according to what BKO said. But then again, they're talking about having these as strategic points. My concern is these sites, will they really serve the purpose? Would we have the infrastructure to accommodate such? Because I might not know the modalities, you know, how this will be put in place, what goes in and what doesn't go in. Yeah. So do you think perhaps we are well, let's say, advanced, or we have that infrastructure to accommodate this kind of, let's say, novel way of transport in our system?
We have no choice in the matter. Every day our population go up. Every day we need mouths to feed. And so when we are doing something new like this, my fear is not the introduction. My fear is that at the point that we've now come to rely on this particular technology, and then the cost will become astronomical, like it's happening to cooking gas. Because remember when they were trying to win us off kerosene, the promise were that it's cheaper, it's cleaner, things will be done.
It was cheaper than kerosene now.
But now,
kerosene is more expensive.
But now the cost of cooking gas is through the roof.
Yeah, through the roof, yeah, absolutely.
And so a lot of people in the rural areas are reverting back to
charcoal.
And charcoal. Even I know in school that is now trying to advertise the one we use in body house now.
Ironing.
Charcoal iron, because they have no choice in the matter. Things are really that bad. That's my fear. Because knowing the Nigerian mentality, everybody will move here now. They've provided, according to them, 2,700. That will not be enough. Because I know our people, the moment they see the advantage of this, they will move massively. And I think in Lagos alone, there are about, according to records, about 1 million drivers. I'm not even talking cars. Cars will be around 10, 20 million. So imagine the level of stations you have to build. And not Lagos-Ibadan alone. The Lagos-Ibadan road is divided into two. It's what I call the rural area from Ajebo down to Chagamu, and then Chagamu down to Lagos. The traffic between Isheri and Chagamu interchange alone will require nothing less than 20 of these things on that
stretch of
50-kilometer alone between Isheri and Chagamu interchange. Because I was looking at the number and I was trying to imagine if vehicles going to the east, these long vehicles using CNG, and they are moving. Let's say we know they move an average of 200, 300 a day. Imagine the number of times they will need to refill. And then don't even forget the Shagamu Benin, which is even longer than the one I've listed. That one is about 300 kilometers, I think. So we need far more than this. You and I know that the traffic between Lagos and Ibadan is actually about 60% of the entire traffic in Nigeria. So if you are going to do a good job,
do it well.
Do it well enough to try to project what we will need in 5 years. It's like Lagos-Ibadan road itself is already obsolete. And they just finished it. When they planned it, they were looking at things like this. But today, the houses have reached Shagamu. So the only place left now between you and I is between Shagamu and Ajebo. And if you are planning to them, they plan two lanes for them. So in 10 years, that will be obsolete. By the time they start again, they will require 12 lanes again. That's the problem he was trying to do about leadership. We look at today. We look at things that we need today. No serious government does that.
Right.
We look at what we need in 20 years.
Visionary.
What we need in 30 years.
Right.
Now people have to grow, because I keep telling people, if you are not careful, Lagos will soon be a slum. Because people moving to Lagos about 1 million a day.
And most of them don't go back.
They don't go back, about 98%. So you cannot keep pretending you are going to start building smaller roads or doing smaller things. No. You must project that Lagos you are looking at is looking, New York is only 9 million, but Tokyo is about 42 million. And what Lagos will be, Lagos already officially 20 million. So we are looking in the next 10 years with the desert coming down. We are looking at Lagos of 30 million. And when I'm talking about Lagos, I'm talking about Greater Lagos, Otomowe, all those areas. And yet we are not making provision for that. You think you've done well today by sitting here because I provided for these people. That's what he's trying to say. Leadership is a problem when it comes to projections. Lagos Ibadan should be a 12-lane road as we are speaking. 12 lanes.
You know, the Americans designed roads to the point that even when war breaks out, aircraft can land on
Land, yeah.
You know, in critical emergency situations, the aircraft will land. You know? So, because this is wide enough
and it's smooth enough
and very strong, you know, very well compacted and all that. I think that we need to roll out those workshops, those refuelling centers. We need to roll out as many as possible. Absolutely. Because once our people take to it, you will see an incremental patronage of those workshops. That is a big challenge, and I'm happy that they are working with private concerns to build those workshops, those service centers, you know, because government simply can't do this alone. The involvement of the private sector in this will help us achieve greater efficiency and professionalism, because everyone knows how government business is handled. So the projection of 1 million CNG vehicles by 2027 is a very ambitious one. But let's even take those baby steps one at a time. So, and all eyes will be on them once they launch this. I'm looking forward to May 29 because some people believe this government has not done anything. But we will see some announcements, because some of the things they are doing are not properly
articulated,
properly projected for people to know. So someone like Wike, for example, he has big plans for May 29. Very soon, the light rail in Abuja too will start working. He's committed to that. And anyone who goes to Abuja now knows that Wike has really made the difference within so short a time. They didn't just name him Mr. Infrastructure for anything. Abuja, the landscape is changing rapidly. People resident in Abuja will testify to that. Even me, occasionally when I go, I see things now that were not there, especially in the Asokoro area. What Wike needs to focus on now are those satellite towns. Because when we talk about FCT is not Abuja alone.
Right.
As there are some of them who are complaining. Once you've dealt with the issues in the metropolis, go into those satellite towns and give them what they want. Thankfully, security is getting a little better. At least the noise about insecurity was not like 2 months ago. So security getting better will also enable growth and development.
And so finally, to leave this now, GKB, I know that we are optimistic or anticipating better days ahead with this transport system being rolled out by the present government. But what other proposals would you make, apart from CNG buses? We're talking about, you talked about visionary leaders now. Let's think of what would you propose as alternative options to our transport system aside from CNG? What do you think the government needs to do?
No, that's really alternative but complementary. Personally, I thought that by now it's already late for our generation. I thought by now there will be a train system that will link our ports with our capital.
Right.
Yes.
That's fundamental.
That's the ideal.
That's late for our generation, but I hope the generation of our children will be able to achieve this. Lagos to Abuja should be by fast train, minimum of 3-4 hours.
Right.
That means I should be able to take the train, fast one.
Yes.
And go to Abuja.
No appointments. Even early morning appointment.
Yeah. It could be from Ishari up to City Gates. Then you find your level. Between Mombasa and Nairobi, it's roughly the same distance. But what they did in Kenya was to build one singular road from their ports to their capital. You can Google it. It's almost a straight road.
Wow.
It was deliberate. Now, once you hit that road, you are going straight to the capital. We should do that. We should have a road that says Lagos, Abuja. Do the shortcuts. Do the whatever you have to do. Remove towns that are in the way. Just look at the map and cut away so that once I hit that road,
you get into the capital.
I'm going to Abuja or coming to Lagos.
Right.
As the case may be. You don't have to go through Ondo, go through Kogi, all those small towns. That to me is the ultimate, because the idea of a centralized capital is fine. But those who planned it didn't think of what will happen between our ports. Forget that Lagos was capital. Our ports and our capital.
And the good thing is Abuja is the second fastest growing city in Nigeria after Lagos. It's rapidly growing, and it will continue to grow. So plans have to be made for it.
Right.
We shouldn't have another Lagos on our hands. Abuja should remain the beautiful city that it is, well planned and ready to accommodate as many
and a lot of exits.
People
a lot of exits to be created.
New towns.
Right.
Build new towns, for the deluge of people that will be coming in. And by the time we link it with rail transport, you can project that it will even welcome a lot more people.
Absolutely. Well, let's leave that discussion and move on